to do this.
Oh my god.
Did we do this right? Are we live?
No,
We're live!
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to Developer Insights. I'm David.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are the leads on game development and design here at Codename.
We also founded Codename too.
We're going to be your hosts for this episode and for every episode.
Because when we're not here, the show doesn't happen. Sometimes when we're here, the show doesn't happen almost as well.
It's fine. It started. We're good.
Today is our 108th episode and our first episode of 2024.
2024, you say. Well, did you make any New Year's resolutions?
Yes, I did. You think you can guess it?
Let's see. Are you going to exercise more?
No.
Lose weight?
Not without exercising.
Get organized?
I'm not planning to.
You're going to learn a new skill or hobby?
Like what?
You're going to live life to the fullest?
I'm already doing that.
Sure. Are you going to save money?
Nope, that conflicts with the last one.
Yeah, okay, maybe. Quit smoking?
I'd have to start first.
Okay. Spend more time with family and
I
friends?
feel like you're getting these from a list, but maybe I'll do that last one as long as they don't make me exercise more.
They might. Well, anyway, I'm out of ideas. You'll have to tell me.
Sorry. A New Year's resolution is like a birthday wish. If you tell people, it doesn't come true.
No, I don't think it works that way. That doesn't sound right.
Anyway, we are here to answer development and design questions about Idle Champions.
However, if you don't ask any questions, you may have to suffer through Justin's one-man reenactment of New Year's Eve in the Stocks household.
Yes, I'm still a little tired from the holidays, so if you don't ask any questions, I'm just going to go to bed early.
Do I get to set off fireworks to wake you up?
That would make it more accurate.
Perfect. All right. Anyway, as always, we have pulled forward some. Did we pull forward questions? Do we remember how to do this?
Forward one question.
From the previous show that we didn't get to, and so we will answer that one while we're waiting for new questions to come in. But before we get to those, we do have some. Do we have updates? Do we remember what we do here?
We barely managed to get the audio working before the stream, so...
Yeah, I got some homework. Yes. Anyway, so without any further stalling for time, let's get started with our list of fixes. There's nothing on the fixes and features list. I do have the in-progress list. Yeah, as it turns out, nobody did fixes over the break. I'm not surprised, but... Anyway, let's see. What do we do have on the in-progress list is recall Mrs. Familiars on the potion dialogue still, so that needs to be fixed. We are going to increase the bounty contract use limit to 1,000. We need a tooltip for potions so you can see what is active without clicking. We're going to add a type/sort filter to the quest tracker. Oh, getting a message. FYI, there's a weird whine happening sometimes when you talk.
Huh.
All right.
That's just Dave talking, guys. I mean...
Oh, rude. All right, hopefully we'll check that and make sure that's not continuing. Let's see. Next item here is the open buy and an option to open, buy, or show chests directly from the champion sheet. That still needs some UI design. We're going to look into whether or not you can do a minimized view on mobile. That's where it goes down into a small form because I thought that was kind of interesting and maybe it's something we can just turn on. There's an add hint text to Egbert's specialization choices, showing the number of atonement points he currently has. Add attack types and roles to the bench slot. In formation champion hover pop-up. Add enemy health and damage to the kill log. I thought that got done actually, but I'll have to check. Adding an option to always show bench slots even when you don't have enough gold. That's where they appear one at a time as you gain gold for them. And it was something that was left over from sort of the tutorial state. And then we're going to fix the campaign map position resetting when changing patrons, because that sounds really annoying. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do about the audio related issue if there's a...
I think we're just going to have to... We're
going to have to hoof it?
have to deal with it for this episode and try and work something out. Because obviously nothing changed over the holidays. It's not like there were people in here streaming or using the mics or
It's a little odd.
touching anything, hopefully.
I'm going to make a small change here.
Okay.
And see if that actually makes any difference. We've got this set to 50, close.
Oh, suppression.
All right. If that sounds any better, let us know. Otherwise, we're going to carry on.
Well, in both cases, we're going to carry on. If it doesn't sound any better, we're out of here. I'm going to go sleep. No.
Okay. First question, left over from last year, and the only question left over from last year. I thought we had more, Justin. How did you only end up with one? Okay.
We have one question.
This is from the R Green Paradox, asking, what was your favorite thing in Idle Champions in 2023?
So this was I had to think about this a little bit and sort of, because we were kind of holding steady for a lot of 2023. We tried, some tweaks and stuff to seasons throughout the year, but I think kind of my favorite thing was just doing a lot of the reworks in the seasons, coming up with kind of cool things for older champions to do and kind of breathing some new life into them. I think looking at the usage charts of those champions after the seasons came out, and especially once the seasons ended, seeing them kind of come up during the season and go along and then not drop down as far as they were before the season started. So seeing that the seasons had, a little bit of those champions had a little bit of life in them even after the season was over was always a nice thing to see. So, I enjoyed doing the season reworks last year. And, yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking at the
wine. It's whistling a weird tune. I wonder if it's like, if we turned up the gain so much that it's like picking up like a laptop fan or something.
I can try turning this off. I don't want to spend too much time on this.
Yeah. Noise suppression.
Let's see if that's any better.
You think by turning off noise suppression, it would just get worse. Because it would be less and less suppression of the laptop noises, the fan, the clock over there is ticking. I've just noticed that now.
Yep. Okay.
Little things.
Let's carry on.
Let's do it.
Next question. This one is the first question
of 2024.
Of 2024, and it comes from Meow Arf Moo, who would like to know, when opening a chest using the Electrum chest as an example, 5 item cards come out. 1 equipment, 1 gem, 1 bounty, 1 blacksmith, and 1 pot. Can we have each of the different item types always show in the same position on the screen instead of randomly moving around the circle? Example, card 1 is always equipment, card 2 is always gems, etc.
Yeah, it's an interesting question because I think we randomized them on purpose, I think.
Do we?
Yeah, we definitely shuffle the contents because we
pick them in order.
We do generate them in the same order every time.
Yes,
it's just the way that chests work. So we randomize them so it looks a little bit more random. Of course, not every chest would drop things in the same order. I mean, we could do this.
I'm not sure what the benefit is.
I guess you can always find the equipment card first and see what it is. It seems a little bit it does seem a little bit odd that we would do something like that. Kind of does away with the
kind of takes away a little bit of the excitement of what you're going to get.
Yeah. Hey, this one's epic. Is it going to be my equipment card, or is it going to be a potion, or is it going to be a contract? Yeah. It's an interesting idea. But I don't, unless you can provide a compelling reason why we would do it, I don't think I would make that my first choice.
Yeah. Okay, next question.
Meowrfmoo has provided a compelling reason.
Because
meow.
Because meow. Well.
Okay.
Next question. This is from Garwar.
You want to bring the chat back up on the main screen now?
Of course.
Thank you kindly.
Perfect. Right, next question is from Garwar. Why no holiday skin from the newsletter this year? This was a long-standing tradition, and the 3 gold chests as a replacement felt really disappointing. It's also one of the only ways we've ever had winter holiday skins introduced to the game. Did we not do that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why we didn't do that. It could have been a resourcing issue. I know that with all of the glitch skins for the new campaign, that the artists have been very underwater on skins lately, so it's possible that there was something to do with that, but I actually don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely possible. It was just an oversight.
Yeah,
you know?
It could have been. It could have been something as simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely. I don't think it was something that was intentional. It was like run by us as something intentional. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, next question. This is from Foolish Genius 89. Can you comment on if there is a plan for what to do about Switch not having access to Season 7?
Yes, we will have some more information about Switch and Season 7. I think it's planned for next week sometime. We'll have some information out on that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's end of next week.
I think that's when it's planned for.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have some more information for you then about the Switch.
Okay, next question. This is from Emote. Do you think a feat that changes a champion's attack type could be possible? Abilities and specs can change attacks, so the tech seems to at least be partially there, and it could help fill out the lack of ranged champions. Would be cool to have champions like Talora throw their spear instead of melee with it.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting kind of thing to do, especially with a feat. There are some kind of questions about feats of that type when we have adventures that could that could cause issues with adventures, but I don't think that's a really big deal since we already kind of have that with stat feats, so probably not an issue. I'm just trying to think if there's any kind of edge cases around attacks specifically. I don't think so. I think that's probably something we could do. It'd just be a matter of figuring out exactly how to set up the champions for that, because I assume they would have to have a different kind of stab attack animation from a throw attack animation. Like setting them to have a different... Maybe they just throw it like this. They're like, and let go.
It would require an additional animation set for it, but I don't think that's something we haven't done before.
And the animation set can be triggered based off of the attack, right? So I think that would probably work.
I'm trying to think of examples where we've done that. We definitely do that in the case of like, we have abilities that change the appearance, and the appearance changes the attack animation, well, because it's a completely separate animation.
Yeah, but having like 2 separate attack animations based on what attack is equipped.
We could do it.
It feels like something we could do. Yeah, that's a cool idea. And it provides a bunch of utility around like, hey, if you want to use Thalora in like in a ranged formation, right? It's it is something like the attack types and how champions attack, whether melee, magic, or range, is something we take into consideration when designing champions. So it is.
But of course, if it's a character with a spear, once the spear is thrown, that's it. It's gone.
They just stand
you have to actually go get it.
Yeah. It's not like they have an infinite quiver of spears, right? Yeah.
Makes sense. Totally does. All right, next question.
They got to have their spear enchanted with loyalty.
So it returns?
Yeah, it's a Minecraft enchant.
Oh.
Getting my Minecraft references in for all the Minecrafters. I don't know what they call people who play that game. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll look that up later. Next question. This is from the 22 Dragons. Will now buffs all the top tiers in each
It's supposed to be will. It's just misspelled.
Oh, will. There we go. Sorry, I was my bad.
I also was confused when I read it.
Will, the character, now buffs all the top tiers in each category, even if the categories are not tiered. Example, if I have 4 humans, 2 wizards, and 3 absolute adversaries, it buffs all 3, not just the humans. Is this intended, or is it a bug? The description of the skill isn't clear.
It is intended. That is how it's supposed to work. So it buffs the top category, or the top thing in each category, And the way to get multiple stacks is to have the same people be the top thing in each category. So yeah, totally intended. It's how it works. My apologies, the description is not clear. I think it did get flagged during testing or implementation that the description was unclear, and I think we made some tweaks, and I'm wondering if either those tweaks aren't good enough, or maybe they just got made in the wrong place and didn't make it into the translation file or something like that. We can look into this and make sure that that description is more clear about how that should work, because I do remember making tweaks to that post implementation.
Okay. All right. Next question. This is from LazyCat 97202. As part of this season, did you consider moving Kent to seat 8? Commander Crux and Kent, both in seat 4, function in a similar fashion, and Commander Crux has better numbers.
We did not consider that. We didn't look too closely at Kent or Virgil this season. The reason being is kind of we were looking at the feedback on those champions, and they looked like they were in a pretty good spot. And then I don't know if anyone's asked this yet, but certainly there must be people wondering why poor Gazric was left out of the season. And the reason for that was we didn't want to split up Kent and Virgil, since they function, they have some synergies built into their kits. And we did want to do changes for Shaka and Solis and Ahani. So we kind of had those 3 built in, and then we had 2 more slots and 3 champions, and we didn't want to split up Kent and Virgil. So they got put in, and Gazric was unfortunately left out. Poor Gazric. But yeah, we didn't really look too hard at Kent and Virgil, because they felt like they were kind of already in a good place. So we didn't consider moving any seats around. In general, moving seats is not something we do super lightly or that we want to do very often. We've done it once out of 130 champions or so. So probably not something we'll do very often in the future, but not, I wouldn't say never.
Okay. Let's see here. Next question. This one is from Emote. I see that Will got a fancy new graphic for his Eldritch Blast attack. Could the other Eldritch Blast champions be upgraded to use it too? The old green one definitely looks tired in comparison. I think I implemented that.
You definitely. The first one was on Makos, and you did implement
I did do that.
And it was the bane of every developer here because of how it splits up damage and applies damage in a way that no other actually no.
Well, there was a number
other
of
attack.
them.
The other ones that you implemented, which is like Delina's
all of those
thing
attacks that
Celeste's
had
ultimate
damage that made sense to appear over time.
Yes.
As opposed to, because it looked weird when it was just either it did all the damage up front and then continued to hit, or if it could hit, and then all the damage happened at the end.
Yeah.
So it definitely causes a lot of sort of headaches down the line for how attack hits get processed onto other effects.
Yes.
And so you kind of end up wanting to do something where visually it shows the damage happening, but the actual damage itself doesn't apply to the character until later.
Yeah,
but at the same time, that actually became an issue, if I remember at the time, because the damage actually had to be queued up so that another character wouldn't then also, while you're animating it out, then attempt to kill that character, basically wasting your attack because the damage was going to occur late.
Yeah, damage over time things are a bit of a pain in the butt. The question was about whether other champions who use Eldritch Blast, and I think there are several of them. I think we're up to 4, maybe 5 champions that have Eldritch Blast as a base attack. I think going back and doing them kind of in one-offs, I think is probably not something, doing them all at once is probably not something that we would do. I think if we look at those champions for rebalances down the road, then I could see potentially making some improvements to their attacks if those are warranted.
I bet it wouldn't be that difficult though. I bet if we mentioned it to Jarrett, he'd probably just do it.
Yeah, but there's other things you can
I
be
know,
doing.
it's true, but like,
I think there's a ton of things that get suggested in Dev Insights that if we mention them to Jared, he could just go and do them in like a couple of hours per. But then we wouldn't have new champions coming out because he just needs to.
It's an interesting trade-off you raised there. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. This is from Meow Arf Moo once again. Can the potions of specialization be auto-implemented into saved formations? More specifically, if a character is saved into 2 different formations, each having a different specialization chosen, can we have it automatically use the potion to change the specializations? Oh, wait. They're asking to do what now?
Basically, when you load a formation if the champion's already loaded into the formation with a different specialization, to use a potion of specialization to change their specialization automatically.
Because the formation save has the specialization as different.
Yeah. This sounds like a very dangerous way to just accidentally hit like QW, QW, and go through all of your specialization potions.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see the use case. Yeah, like if Kanellan's saying there in chat, if you had a damage formation and a gold formation, and you use the same champion in 2 of them, it feels like a very dangerous thing. It's one of those cases, we talk about this on the show fairly often, where we don't want to provide opportunities for players to kind of screw themselves over, for lack of a better term.
No shooting yourself in the foot.
No shooting yourself in the foot. Well, this is why we don't give champions guns, except for just a couple of them.
Only the responsible ones?
Only the responsible ones who have gone through training.
Steel-toed shoes?
Yes, but I think like maybe we could do something like that if it had like a confirmation. Like you've loaded in a champion, they've got a different specializations. Like, would you like to use a specialization potion to change them and show like how many specs you have? I think automatically doing that would be a little bit dangerous. But I think having like a prompt or something might be an okay way to implement that.
Yeah. That's a thought.
Emote says, I feel like specialization potions could just be removed or something and allow respecking for free. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough balance there. The potions do kind of, they suffer from like RPG healing potionitis, where it's like...
You reach the end of the game and you have an inventory full of them?
You want to save them for if you need them, but then you feel like if you use them, you might need them in the future. And it's like... Yeah, it kind of generates this kind of paralysis around using them, which, maybe it makes sense for them to just be replaced with something else. But,
Or turned into speed potions. I don't know about that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this it does sound like something that we could consider.
Well, we can certainly highlight it and add it to the Dev Insights to do someday list.
Shh! Don't tell them there's 2 lists. All right. Next question. This is also from Meow Arf Moo. I know the nerds were a promotional thing from long ago and are fairly niche for the most part, but could we get something, maybe some feats, or additional specializations to remove the abundance of RNG when trying to get a specific set? It's a bit annoying sometimes, which takes a bit away from the fun.
Yeah, I think I believe it was the last episode or the episode before, somebody suggested this, and I think I said, yeah, maybe we can do something like that. Can't remember where it was.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
I'm looking at. I'm doing a search through here. Yeah, we do have one that's highlighted in yellow here from, when was this? Mid-November. So not last episode, but a couple of episodes ago. So it did get onto a list. I'm not sure if it got onto the list. But I think this is something that, yeah, we can probably do at some point. We are trying to do, I think, a couple of these kind of quality of life things. I think actually, yeah, Canellan's saying a new feat like Salice's that block it from the roaming alts would be great. I think that is what I was maybe thinking at that point. We hadn't announced that type of tech for Salice at that point, but it was something we had designed at that time and was in implementation. So yeah, potentially I think there's something we could do there, but it requires a little bit of design thought, I think. Find any good questions in there?
Perhaps.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next question.
Sure. The next question here is from the 22 Dragons. We are in 2024 now. Happy New Year. Any news about the state of working on the overhaul of time gates to make equipping older champions easier? Will we see it soon?
So, confidentially, don't tell anyone this.
Whoa.
Yes, we have some pretty big things to make equipping old champions easier.
Don't make me find the mute button.
Don't look away, or look away. Turn off your ears? I don't know. Yes, we have some stuff planned. We are not quite ready to talk about it yet, but I think that, well, from all of the discussions we've had internally, a couple of people externally that we've talked to about it, I think that it will be very, very good. I don't want to hype it out too much, but yes, we have some big plans for making equipping old champions easier, and we are hoping to talk about that. I think the plan is we'll be talking about that in early February. If my recall from yesterday's meeting about it is correct.
Yes,
So
I think so. I think that's
you
right.
guys can just hold on until early February. We will talk about it. It'll be awesome. You'll be super hyped. I'm super hyped for it. I was working on it just before it came in, and
I have a hype deficiency, so I'm only moderately hyped.
yeah.
But that's a condition that.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we'll work on that.
Yeah.
We'll get you some medication. But yes, we have some really exciting things planned for 2024 in general.
But if you want to hear about them, you have to wait a month.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they're
Justin.
for just a little bit later in 2024.
Okay. Let's see. Next question is, do we want to run a giveaway?
Sure. I guess we can. It's a couple minutes past half hour. So before we go to our next question, let's run our giveaway. This is our stream famous 42 gold chest giveaway. The way it works, if you haven't been in our chat before, and if you haven't been in our chat before, welcome. But the way it works is very, very shortly there will be a code word posted in chat. And all you have to do is copy and paste that code word back into chat, and you will be entered for a chance to win 42 chests of your choice. So if you win, you can pick a type of chest in-game, any type of chest that exists in the game, and we will give you 42 of that, except for Gloria Bahamut chests, for reasons.
Can I get an apple chest?
Are apples a type of chest?
Snake chest.
Are snakes a type of chest?
A ridge chest.
Are we playing is this some sort of association game where you say a bunch of words and then I have to figure out what connects them?
What the connection is? I mean,
we have been playing a lot of the connections game on the New York
that's
Times.
true.
Are they?
Ooh, how about a powder horn chest?
Are they types of gourds?
Uh,
An apple gourd?
How did you
It
get?
does kind of look like an apple.
Interesting.
That's weird.
I've never seen that before. Yeah.
Anyway, good luck to everyone. Good luck especially to our first-time chatters. And
Why them? What did they do?
well, they showed up. They came to our stream. Welcome to our stream.
Okay.
For all of you who have shown up to our stream before, thanks for coming back, but less luck to you, I guess. I guess that's the implication. Sorry. It's early in the new year, you know? I'm just going to stop talking.
I know.
now.
I'm concerned. I don't know what you're hoping to achieve with that.
I don't know. I don't know.
I hesitate to take away your shovel, but
oh my gosh. Okay, let's just move on.
Oh, okay. Returning players, negative luck. -1 luck on all rolls.
I'm sorry, returning players.
Okay. Let me get this figured out. Okay. Garwar says it felt like a backhoe, not a shovel. Okay.
Yeah, felt like that to me too.
Okay, next question. This is from Emote. Could we please be able to dismantle pigments from champions at some point? Perhaps during the next emergence. Or emergencies. Sure.
Which Google wants to autocorrect to emergencies. Yeah, I know we've talked about this before, and we've talked about making sure, like not having pigments be part of full legendary dismantles.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people to be like just moving their pigments all over the place all the time. With that said, I don't know. Maybe. I think it's something we need to talk about internally and kind of figure out what we want to do with pigments and dismantles. Or what we want to do with just dismantles in general. So, yeah, I think it's something we have to figure out. Also, I saw that joke from Fewer Pills. That hurts. But, I mean, I guess I deserve it. So, congratulations, Demon Grrr.
I missed it. What did Fewer Pills say?
He said, just like with bonus quests, Justin likes to punish old viewers. I deserve it.
That's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This is from the 22 Dragons. It was intended to nerf Dahani Way of the Bush, or was it an oversight? So just the phrasing of that was, it wasn't, I'm not saying it was intended, they're asking, was it intended, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it an oversight? I know the overall damage increased, but I think that in the state it is now, it is rewarding so little that makes farming stacks almost pointless. Wouldn't it be better to, and making it more relevant to replace it with a totally different ability?
Yeah, so I think this is one of the things where we just kind of reorganize. Did you say Way of the Bush? Oh, dear.
It's a bushwhacker ability.
Oh my
Sorry.
goodness. So I think the answer to this is it was a let's just turn off the stream and start over. I mean,
maybe we'll fix the audio.
So the answer to this question, which is a good question, is that no, it wasn't 100% intended that we decrease the damage to it. But to be fair, the damage decrease to it was fairly minuscule. It was essentially decreased by 200% damage increase buff. And I think the other upgrades we gave to Dahani more than made up for that. Dahani has a lot of stuff that she does now that she didn't do before that makes up for a 200% damage increase by a lot. It's also one of those things where I'm actually not totally against kind of moving some of the power to the base kit as opposed to the stacks. You can still get, you can still get quite a bit of power from the stacks once you get to kind of the levels that you were at before, and obviously everyone got to keep their old stacks. I think we haven't talked a bit about this internally yet, but my impression is we'll probably just put that back up to 0.03 because it's not a huge damage buff, and I think it'll make people feel a little bit better about it. In terms of replacing it with a totally different ability, that's not something we ever considered. We didn't really want to take away all of, if somebody had spent a whole bunch of time, I know a lot of people had spent a whole bunch of time farming up Tahani stacks, we didn't want to take those away, and even if we replaced them with something that we felt was maybe a little bit better, because that's a lot of time investment to do a lot of stack farming with Tahani.
Okay. Next question. This one is from Emote. Are we likely to see any changes to the reforging system this year? It is still in a really bad place where spending a limited and time-sensitive resource can result in no gain or worse, an actual loss of power. And that's not fun.
That's not fun. It says that right here. And I agree that is not fun. That is, I would like to. I hesitate to give the Justin guarantee. Not that the Justin guarantee counts for anything. I would like to make changes to the reforging system this year. It's just a matter of the resourcing and finding the time to do that. But yeah, I think it is definitely pretty miserable when you reforge and you get a worse legendary effect than the one before, and that is obviously something that can happen 1 in 5 times that or X in 5 times that you reforge. If you're looking for one particular reforge and you don't want the other 4, that's like 80% of the time it feels bad, which is a pretty shitty situation to be in. So yeah, I think there's something we need to do with that. I'm not 100% sure what the solution is. We still want it to be something where it's not completely trivial to just get all 6 items to the legendary bonus that you want, because that would also be not necessarily good. So yeah, I think we need to find a better middle ground there than what we have. The ground we have there is not middle. The ground we have there is not fun.
Okay. Moving on.
Let us move on.
Next question. This is from Emote. Can you give Whittle's speed item a cap so that it no longer gets levels past the point where they have no effect?
Yes, that is something that we can look at. Generally, we want to try and cap speed items so that they don't have that kind of thing, so they're not sucking item levels away from other items on that champion. So I will highlight that one and we can take a look and see what is going on there.
All right. Next question. This is from OG17. Syl's feat to protect her stance change ultimate from roaming familiars was added to the game by a player request as a quality of life feature, and touted in the blog as such, which makes the choice to lock it behind the paid season pass feel inappropriate. Would this be reconsidered?
That is a good question. I'm trying to remember back to when we were doing the design for this, because I'm sure this came up in the discussions, and I cannot remember why we made the decision to go the way we decided to go. Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure we had a good reason back in the day, but this was like 2 months ago and an entire year ago, some would say. Not me, I wouldn't make a joke that lame. But yeah, I'm sure there was another one that we did where we talked. I'm actually, yeah, I'll look into that and see if I can puzzle out what happened there. Whether or not we intentionally put it in there because we just want to sell more passes, or if we bungled something there. But I will look at that. See if I can come up with a more satisfying answer.
Okay. Next question. This is from OG17. Tahani had a newsletter unlock code yesterday. Should new players expect more unlock codes to better make decisions with gate pieces? So the question is, are we expecting any additional champion unlocks this season?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think
this was discussed with the production and marketing teams, and my understanding is there won't be any more.
Yeah, my understanding was that as well. It was just the one.
If there is another one or another couple, please don't put my head on a pike. But my understanding at this time is that was the only one that we're doing this season.
Yeah, that was my understanding as well.
Yeah.
But still, if it's not the case, Justin's head, not mine.
If it's not the case, I'm sorry, but that's my understanding at the time.
Okay.
At this time.
Next question. This is from Emote. Are you still planning on removing the favor cost for upgrading legendaries? If so, could you also remove the season favor or allow an opt-out? Because Thalora's skip favor. Why do I trying to say flavor?
It's flavor limited.
It's flavor. It's favor. Thalora's skip is favor limited. Having a very specific favor amount is needed, and season favor can ruin that, especially if there becomes no way to reduce favor.
Gosh. I gotta say, the way you guys find to min-max stuff is very impressive. So, yes, I think the plan is to remove the favor cost for upgrading legendaries. With regards to removing season favor or allowing an opt-out, I mean, that one I'll have to think about more. Gosh, that's such an odd request. These are like some of these requests that we get from people who are really min-maxing and really like dialing in on the specific numbers they need to do exactly what they want are just so they're so edge casey that it gets it's like, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to think about that one. I know we still want to do the ability to kind of opt out of getting the season auto claim stuff for people who are doing that, but
I had a terrible idea. For skip, like, here in like Briv skip, for example.
Mm-hmm.
What if?
Oh dear.
Instead of locking it to the level, the item level, once you'd unlocked an item level, you could then pick that level. So it's like if you unlock to skip 9, you can pick how many you want to skip between whatever 9. It's just a setting on the character.
I think that's the idea of the feats. Like we've got a 4 skip feat in there, right? So I think it's a similar thing that we just put in.
But it seems like if we keep adding characters that have this kind of thing where people want to pull them down to some level, that instead of having, I don't know, some way to it's weird to want to reduce the amount of favor, but being able to say that once you've achieved over this amount, you can go in and just pick the amount you want. I mean, it's not something you'd think about until you got into the part where people are trying to do the min-maxing, and then it becomes something that would just make it simpler. You could just pick which level. I mean, it could be pretty edge casey for player usage, but
like one of the questions for things like that is where do we put them, right? Because do you say we did that for Briv and there were like, I don't know, people are starting to try and push towards like 15 skips, whereas we had like 15 feats in there that say set the level or capped the level. It's like where?
Well, we add a new button on the character sheet that is player or character specific customizations or character specific options, and you open that up and then it's got very specific, it's all customized to that character with the very detailed options you can apply for that character and that character only.
Yeah, the only problem with that is the bag of worms that would open with like, well, you've done it for Briv and Thalora. Now can you do it for these 5 champions that have this particular way?
Oh yeah, no, I mean
that I want to that 0.01% of the player base wants to use them.
Well, it's that, or you get Jarrett to do the upgrade of the Eldritch Blast.
Sorry guys, you're not getting any new event champions this year. We made the call.
Right.
Okay. Let us look more. I know you like the word favor, so the next question starts out that way.
Next question, also from Emote. Favored foe champions are in a strange place at the moment where they gain all of their power on regular zones, where FFs can spawn and be killed. Why am I reading this wrong? And stacking. Move. I can't read with your. You know, the cursor gets in the way, Justin. I can't read it. Where favored foes can spawn and be killed, and stacking abilities can stack. But when they need the power on boss zones, they can't. Favored foe spawning abilities explicitly don't work on boss zones. This leads to need a bud spike on a normal zone just to get past bosses, and it's a bit tedious. Is this something that can be looked at?
Yeah, I mean, this is I agree that it's a strange place. I think we've tried to do some work on favored foes to try and even them out and remove that kind of spikiness from them. But it is somewhat challenging to just get that working in all places. You know, on boss zones, we don't necessarily want to be spawning additional enemies. In addition to just being a little bit confusing potentially, it actually, like, I think it can break boss areas. Like, we've had bugs in the past where boss areas have not been completing after you kill the boss. And the minions, and that's because there've been like other things that have spawned, and those need to be killed too, or like they can complete early because it's expecting a certain number of enemies to be killed or something like that. So I think there's this sort of I'm trying to remember what we internally call this kind of effect where stuff falls off when you don't want it to be falling off. But it is something that we're pretty aware of, and we are trying to design around as much as possible. But it's something that's a little bit of a challenging design space for us, and it's something we do want to try and work on in the future. And we will, you know, if we can find a good solution for it, then it's something that over time we will get to apply to favored foe champions as we go.
All right. Next question. This is from Dice42. What's happening with Yang Sao's background farming? I spent over 2 days farming in the background and only got 136 stars from it. Is this working as intended?
I'm going to go way out on a limb here and say, no, that doesn't sound right. I will highlight that and pass that on to the team, and we'll see if we can figure out.
Yeah, definitely, and we've mentioned this quite a number of times as they come up, that certainly background elements have been missed in the past, and when they're brought to our attention, you know, we can bring them to the dev team's attention and see if we can get sort of, each one of them needs specialized code for that, for in the background, because sometimes they don't, because the background is approximating things, it doesn't necessarily mean that those things are going to fire, and so that means that they need to get approximated. That's likely what's happening here with only 136. It seems like it's only on the rare or sort of edge cases where it is firing because of what part of the simulation in the background ran that it's crediting it, and so it's not actually doing an approximation for the ones that are missed. So we can tag that, and it should be able to be fixed.
Yeah, I think we should be able to. Yeah. Next question here is from OG17. It's like, is this our first blue question of the day?
It might be.
It's 2:52, and we're at our very first.
I got another one down here though too.
Wow. Well, we better get through these.
I mean, maybe you can answer it instead. We're gonna go.
I could answer this one actually. If I got into it first, I would have highlighted it for myself.
There you go. You just.
OG17 asks, could click skins get the random plus default selection options that character skins have? This season brings the 6th click skin.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where certainly as we add more click skins, it starts to make more sense to have something like that. I know that certainly wasn't a priority originally because there are, well, so many fewer click skins.
There were 2,
yes.
3, maybe there were 4 at some point.
They're pretty few and far between. Yeah. And I think some of them you need. I don't remember if they were even available in game. Some of them was like a code only.
Flame one that we did with like packs and gym, and I think there was a code you needed for it. I think you did purchase it at this point for gems.
Yeah, I think so. But
I don't know.
At any rate, yeah, as that grows, we can definitely green flame every time. Yeah, certainly as that grows, that does make it more of a priority. So at some point, I can't promise it, you know, before those other updates that Justin has teased so aggressively. But it does start to make sense the more skins get there.
Yeah. So speaking about offline progress, this next question is from Honda Hero 21, and they ask, for quests, can you include if they can be handled offline? For instance, I really wouldn't know if removing segments is handled by the offline progress or has to be handled in the foreground. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, so this is again one of the things that, and in fairness, like some of these were oversights. They are supposed to work, or it would be our intention that they do work, but they did get unintentionally missed because it's something that is not as obvious to test. And as we spoke about it last year, last year. It's one of the streams near the end of the year last year, because there was a specific ability, and I'm racking my brain to remember which ability it was.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That came up. And I did talk to Peter about the way that the QA process works on that, to make sure that we get the testing of the background abilities on there as a hard, like, this is something that needs to be checked, so that going forward any of those do get checked to make sure that they work offline. So yeah, I mean, sort of the part of the problem for these, like for example, having a flag on them that says, hey, this works offline or not, is that for the ones that are missed, the ones that are an oversight, we actually didn't know that they weren't working offline, so it would be difficult for us to then tag them as they do or do not work offline. So it's part of the, so it would be nice to be, I think that if there were ones that were like, this absolutely can't work offline, that would be something that would be considered in this case in terms of tagging them. But as it stands, it's sort of there's a lot of them out there that are not intentionally not working offline. They're just not something that's necessarily been properly flagged to us to get fixed so that they do work offline.
Yeah, I think on the design side, I don't think we ever specifically design any quests that were like, this must be done online. There, a couple may have slipped through where they're kind of very, very active play. But for the most part, our intention is that they should, 99% of them should be able to work offline.
Yeah. All right. Next question is from Asphilia357. Do you have a basic time frame for when various upcoming updates? Are we looking at Q1, Q2, or later? Specifically, the Tiamat update and the collections update.
Yeah, this is, again, unfortunately, this is something where we do have some plans for these, and they're getting solidified, and part of that solidification is also figuring out from a marketing community side how we present those to people, and I believe the earliest I can talk about this stuff is going to be kind of early February in terms of specifics. We do have some dates we are shooting for, specifically with the collections update and the kind of time gate stuff that I talked about earlier. The Tiamat update's a little bit more nebulous, but yeah, we do have some stuff that we want to talk about with you guys in about a month or so.
Okay. We have time for one more question?
Sure, why not? This is another blue question.
Here we go, we got two
blue
in.
question of the
Perfect.
day.
I'm not pulling my weight.
Library of Akasha asks, can we get a toggle for the upgrade unlocked pop-ups? Maybe a toggle for the yellow string of lights that appear when leveling up a champion. Do they not cause graphical lag?
Graphical lag, you say?
Graphical lag, the worst kind of lag.
The toggle unlock. Did we not? Why does part of me feel like we have a toggle for that?
I thought we had one too.
Maybe the chat knows. We have that already. There we go. The chat says that everything causes graphical lag. So I did think there was a toggle for the upgrade unlocked pop-ups. So you should be able to find that in the settings. The chat is confirming it's there, so I'm pretty sure it is. I do remember that being a thing that we had done. As far as the visual effect that appears over the champion, that does not cause any graphical lag. We were talking about one element. It's most of the latency, like the lag that occurs during the level up, is all of the reprocessing of the effects that occur during the level up process, and then making sure that they're all connected and assigned to everything that they affect. So there's a lot of thinking, a lot of CPU, a lot of processing that happens. The graphic of the single graphic that animates is basically it's a small enough impact that it's basically zero compared to the processing that occurs on the level up.
Yeah, I think in terms of reducing the lag from leveling up champions, I think your best bet is just to make sure you're on the times 100 or whatever the biggest one is, and then to keep pestering us for a upgrade to max, because that will be the thing that will save you the most.
Right.
Doing all of that reprocessing that Dave talked about of stuff all at once, as opposed to doing it once for each upgrade, would definitely be a little bit more efficient.
All right. Well, I think that is definitely all of the time that we have today.
That's
Sorry
it.
for our late start.
I've got to remember how we do our outro here. Yes, okay, I remember this. If we didn't get to your question, don't worry, you will have another opportunity. If everything goes well, we'll be live again at this same time next week. Before we sign off, though, we'd like to thank our tireless mods. This week it was different. It wasn't Mars. It was
Sean?
Gabe and
Sean.
Shawn. Don't know who that is. Anyway, they're the folks who copy your questions into our questions doc and help make things awesome. So thanks to both of you.
And of course, thanks to all of you for hanging out, watching the stream, asking such great questions, and for enjoying the game. Without you, no one here would get to do what we do.
Well done, sir. And we like what we do.
When we do it right. All right, that is enough of that. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Over and out.
All right, what do we do next?
It says here, hot mic bit.
Right. Okay. There we go. I've got a dad joke for you.
Oh, wonderful!
Perfect.
I totally missed this.
What do you call a color that doesn't exist?
What?
You call it a pigment of your imagination.
Oh, that's like relevant. Over and out.
Hope that doesn't catch on.